Hey everybody, it's Rita with Simply Certified. So I want to talk about something that we need to forget today. I'm always talking about things to learn or new topics that we can explore and expand our knowledge base on. But today I want to talk about 10 phrases you simply want to forget. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I'm always asked how I stay so positive and pretty much how I keep going. Like, I have a crazy amount of certifications and college degrees, whatever. You all can see that. It does take a lot out of me, and sometimes it's really hard to stay positive and find the motivation to get through. And sometimes a big part of that is the things that we say. So, the things that we tell ourselves and the things that we say to other people. So a little bit of housekeeping before I get to the rest of the presentation, and I promise it's not going to be a crazy long one as usual. It's going to be a short one. And so this presentation, it's developed for suggestions only. Like, I'm pretty certain these strategies are going to work for you, but they might not. So they're just suggestions, and it's things that I found helpful for myself. I can't be held liable for, how you apply this to your personal life or your professional life. And on that note, the information and the suggestions in this presentation, they don't represent the ideas or opinions of any professional organization that I might belong to, such as my certifying organizations or any companies that I may be employed with, except for Simply Certified because we're putting out this material. Also, my contact information is located at the end of the presentation. If anyone has any questions or any suggestions on ideas for future content. So the things that you say to yourself and to others, right? It can have a bigger impact than you might think it does. Offhand and even well-intentioned comments can be harmful to others and to yourself. The things that we say impact how we view the world and ourselves. But the things that we say to others influence how they see themselves, the rest of the world, and us, of course, because we said it. And people never forget how you make them feel. Think about a time when someone said something to you, and it may not have seemed like a big deal of a thing to say, right? But it really impacted your life or your outlook or your ability to accomplish a task. So, in thinking of that, consider these phrases that are simply best left unsaid. The first one I want to talk about is a really good one. What's wrong with you? Or what's wrong with me? Asking yourself or someone else that question, it never has a positive outcome. It can be a serious insult, and it implies the other person is seriously flawed in some kind of way. So, I mean, put the shoe on the other foot. If somebody said that to you, what's wrong with you? It would make you feel bad, right? So always keep that in mind and try to just forget this phrase. Asking yourself the same question has the same implications. When you ask yourself a question, your brain tries over and over again to answer it. So asking that question, you'll eventually answer it and you're not going to like the answer. Substituting the question, such as saying, how can I help? Or how can I make this better? Brings a positive solution. The second good one I want to talk about is saying that you can't do it or I can't do it. Once you tell yourself that you can't do something, you're not going to do it. Saying this to someone else always has a negative result, or usually always. It certainly doesn't make you more likable to that person, for one, but I mean, it's a downer. Like, imagine if somebody keeps telling you that you can't do something, how you would feel. Keep that in mind. And saying it to yourself is just as devastating. Once you tell yourself you can't do something, again, you're not going to be able to do it. Instead, you might say something like, "It may be tough, but I believe in you," or "This might be hard, but I can do this." Be like the little engine that could. "I think I can. I think I can. I think I can." And move to "I know I can." You're never going to climb a mountain that you don't try to climb. For instance, like with a job interview, like you're never going to get a job that you don't apply for because you tell yourself that you can't do it. It's simply my parents' fault, right? It's my parents' fault. Always blame mom and dad. So that is such a great way to let yourself off the hook, right? Unfortunately, letting yourself off the hook prevents you from being able to make your situation better. Only you can make a better life for yourself. Take responsibility for your life and the results, your end results. It doesn't matter who is actually to blame, because I mean, it could be somebody else's fault, but regardless, the situation is yours and it's your responsibility to fix. A good example of this is maybe you got in trouble at work for something that you didn't do, like you went down with or for someone else. You can't just go around carrying the blame, blaming someone else forever. You have to find a way to move past it, to fix it, to repair any damage that you can, and stop placing blame on people because the blame is holding you back. Whether it's parents, an employer, a coworker, a spouse, it doesn't work like that. I'm too old or too young. I hear this all the time. There's some exceptions to this. Obviously, a 5-year-old's not going to go be a neurosurgeon, right? But age is almost always an artificial limitation. It might have been easier to do something 20 years ago, especially if it's physical labor or learning a new skill set, but harder doesn't mean it's impossible. You might think you're too young to do something, but I'm going to say that that's the same concept. I mean, surely, there's certain things that have an age limit and you're not going to be old enough to do it. Like, you can't vote unless you meet the age requirement. You can't drink alcohol in the United States unless you meet the age requirement. But there's, learning new things or setting goals and accomplishing them. You're never too young or old to do it. All right. So, unwanted advice. I think you should. So, this isn't really something that you're going to tell yourself, but when you go around giving advice, specifically if people don't want that advice, pretty bad idea. It's a good way to ruffle feathers and form a poor opinion of you that is going to be really hard to fix. So, unless someone asks you specifically what you think, or the situation directly affects you, your life, your career, your education, or something, it's better to keep your opinions to yourself. What will people think? Okay. This is so common. It's perhaps the most limiting thought a human can have. While it's common to worry about the opinions of others, it's unnecessary. And it's very limiting. You're just building a wall for no reason. Think about this. Do you really want to build your life, your dreams, your future around the opinions you imagined someone else has? So, like, you're not a mind reader. You can't read other people's minds. So, basically, what you think that they think about you is your imagined opinion. You don't know. The truth is, though, most people in the world couldn't care less what you're doing. They really don't care. I love this one. I love this one because I know people, I think everyone's guilty of this, but I know people who are specifically guilty of this one. They constantly beat up on themselves. I'm an idiot. I'm so stupid. Actually, you're not. If you say something enough, you're going to start to believe it. So when you believe something, it changes the way you behave. It's harmful to your success and your happiness if you believe that you're an idiot. Don't believe that, right? Instead of tearing yourself down and beating yourself up, build yourself up with encouraging words. I'm awesome. I'm superwoman, right? This is amazing. This is so easy. I'm so proud of myself. I did such a good job. Nobody loves me. All right, I can really get this one. But how could you possibly know that? Think about it. How could you know how another person feels about you? You have no idea how many people do or don't love you. Just know that you're loved. Believe that you're loved. If someone doesn't love you, that's their loss. Trust me, it's not yours. It's too hard. When you believe that something is too hard, you're not even going to try. It's not okay to start with the belief that something's too hard. Instead, replace that phrase and that negative thinking with, I can do this. I just haven't figured it out yet. Or this might be hard, but I can totally do this. I'm going to own it. I'm a boss, right? It's not too hard. Nothing's too hard. I mean, realistically, nothing's too hard. Again, with the neurosurgeon example, I'm not just going to expect that I can go become a neurosurgeon and it's not going to be too hard for me. Probably would be. Saying, I don't know. So this phrase in itself really isn't that bad. But it kind of suggests that nothing else is going to happen. There's going to be no follow-up. You don't know, you don't care. You're not going to look into it. A better response would be, I don't know yet, but I'm going to go find out. And especially in a field like the one I'm in and the one I do all of these educations for, that's really important because the job that I'm doing and the job roles that I'm teaching about, you can't do them without being able to go do research and find the answer out. You have to know how to get the answer and be willing to go get it. So that kind of wraps it up. There's a lot of things that seem okay to say, but they can actually do a lot of harm, more harm than good. The words we say or even sometimes think have the power to impact ourselves and others in a big way. So choose your words kindly, and you'll make life easier for others and yourself. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this video. And I hope I was able to help anyone in some way. Yeah. So here's my contact information. My email address is on the screen. The main website, iamsimplycertified.com, is also up there. And my LinkedIn is also there for your convenience. Again, thank you guys.